Hello.
So we're back again on a Wednesday video, and today we're explaining about sterns. Not my stern, the boat's stern. Now there are three different sterns on boats. You've got your traditional, you've got your semi-traditional, and you've got your cruiser style. Ours is a semi-cruiser, isn't it? And that means that we have more space around the back. But that also brings its disadvantages in our situation. Now Duncan's going to go through what our issues are with this stern, and so that you don't make that same mistake that we did. Yep.
Well, not necessarily a mistake, but certainly a more informed decision.
Yeah, we weren't aware of how it was going to be until we used the boat.
And it's impacted us quite strongly, hasn't it?
Yeah, yes, it has. It's been more of an issue than what we thought it was going to be. We're used to it now, but we would prefer it if it wasn't.
Yeah, we still can't do.
We can't do anything about it.
We've got to change it, haven't we?
Yes.
It's got to be changed.
Yes.
Hello there. If you're going to go, when you're designing your boat, we can only advise that you really go out and have a look at all the boats. Have a look at the styles you want. Once you've chosen your deck, or the deck with the rear layout that you want, stand on the deck and see where the tiller is. The tiller arm for us was down here. It's about 9 inches lower.
This is the first solution that Aintree came up with. It's almost an S-piece. Although it did work by raising the tiller, it was ugly. So we asked them to make us a new tiller.
Aintree, to the credit, they came out and they fixed it. But all they did was give us a higher swan neck. They didn't have the equipment to do the bend on the swan neck, so we've got that, and we're quite happy with it. It doesn't look out of place, but we can still use the tiller. It's in the appropriate position for us, and I would suggest you do exactly the same thing. Another thing I would suggest you do is when you're cruising, the position to be in, apparently, so I've been told, is in front of the tiller. If you're to the left or to the right of the tiller and you hit an obstruction under the water, it could hit you and knock you over the side. If you're in a tunnel on your own, bang your head in the water, drowned, dead. So this is where you're supposed to stand. Unfortunately for us, we didn't know any better. Our control panels are back there, so when we're cruising along, we have to keep taking our eyes off and looking at the control panel to identify what it is we want to do. Even the lights, they're all just blue. They're not very distinctive, and they all look very similar. Many a time we like to cruise in the morning. We put our nav lights on. Sometimes I've pressed the horn instead, and at 7 o'clock in the morning with all the boaters around, they're not happy. They're quite disgruntled. Bow thruster left and right. Obviously, if you have one, you need to look down and pick which one you're going to go for. So I would recommend you look at that, move that forward so you're just to the front and left of you, so you could see it at a glance without having to keep turning around like we do. That's what I would do. I'd have moved my gas bottles over to there and I'd put that there. In fact, I'm even thinking of a way that we can do that in a refit of some description. And then you've got number 3, which I'm just about to go into now. Any questions? Around. The warmest I've been. Sitting on the engine. Right. The issue I have, as you can see, this board, the engine is hot. This board obviously sits across there, and it's guttering, obviously, to take excess water away. Our intention is to cut that off. Aintree have supplied me with another one, and what I've done is cut a groove or slots in there, and I've pried that open. It would have been nice if I could have had some heat, and then I could have got it nice and flat. So as a temporary measure, cut that off, that'll slot into that hole that's been left, and there's an overhang there that'll be sloping down, so the water will run off into the gutter likewise that way. And these lugs are to stop the new one travelling port, starboard, left and right, so it keeps it in place, and with a bit of luck it won't bloody rattle. That said, I now need to obviously grind a load of this down, and then that will allow it to sit flush with there. There's a weld here, as you can see. I won't be removing that weld. This will sit on the weld, and that will stop any water coming down here and going back down that way and into the engine bay. That's the plan. However, when I buy my welding set, I will be cutting these off and then putting a plate on all the way around, and that will stop it travelling left and right, and it will also allow it to run down. That's the possibilities, or that's the principle rather. I would suggest, if you can or you have the option, get in there at the build stage and get them to build it that way for you. That's my tip of the day. Tip of the day. As you can see, it's right in an awkward position. I mean, I appreciate they have to have the larger part there because that's where the engine goes, but that's just unnecessary. I did talk to Jay. He's the lad that made the stern, if you like, of the boat, and he said that bar is the last piece he puts in because he can't get moved for it. So if they're struggling without an engine in there, you know. But I did discuss it with him, and he didn't seem to understand what I said at first, and I drew a picture and we had a good chat about it. I think he quite likes the idea, but we'll see. There are my tips. Look at that, and look at that, and don't nick me Bourneville.